heard that something was wrong. The first I heard about it was...
And then the emergency spillway, and let's diagram this out. And here's the emergency spillway. That's what water is spilling over right now. So what exactly is going on is we've got erosion happening down here below the main emergency spillway, and that erosion has started to eat back towards the emergency spillway, and that's what the engineers are really concerned about. I was, frankly, a little bit, I was thinking that maybe there was something happening on the emergency spillway itself. Maybe the top was crumbling or something. That is not the case. All this water flowing over the emergency spillway, somewhere here, obviously I don't know specifically where, but somewhere there, there's erosion happening, and that is eating away back towards the emergency spillway. And if you get underneath the emergency spillway, then obviously that's going to start to compromise that structure and maybe cause it to collapse or so. So what the key thing is we want the emergency spillway to stop flowing, because once water stops coming over the emergency spillway, that erosion will stop, and then everything is much better there, basically. So I think you heard Cecile talking about a little bit earlier that they're helicoptering big boulders in, potentially to fill up that erosion feature and prevent, or at least slow down as much as possible, the erosion happening back towards the emergency spillway. And if they could just hang on probably another hour or two at the absolute most, that erosion should really come to a grinding halt, and then everybody can gather themselves here and figure out what to do over the next few days. Again, we have more rain coming, looks like last check, Thursday and Friday, so that'll be a whole new ball of wax. But let's...
Auxiliary or emergency spillway. Apparently, according to the DWR, when engineers saw that the rate of erosion was heading towards the foundation of the weir, as they call it, they decided in an abundance of caution they wanted to evacuate. They have also reduced the amount of water going over the weir. So what they're trying to do is mitigate the fact they're dealing with a lot right now. So the emergency spillway appears to be failing. Well, I take that back. They said it could fail. It is showing structural damage. I don't know yet if it has actually failed, but they said in an abundance of caution. Now what that means is that you need to evacuate. This is a time for you to sit and wait and decide later, because then it might be too late. So you definitely need to get out of the area, and as you know, you need to head north, come up to Chico. The Silver Dollar Fairgrounds has been opened as an emergency shelter, and this is just getting underway right now, and we do not have an update yet. Do we have Kay? Do we have Kay again? All right, well, okay.
Potential dam failure is what the National Weather Service out of Sacramento is saying for residents around south central Butte County. Again, a lot of this water continuing to funnel its way up the Feather River and over that auxiliary spillway. Outflow right now from Lake Oroville close to 100,000 cubic feet per second, so very strong, about double what it was from yesterday and earlier today, and it's only going to continue to increase here. What we're expecting, more of those flood warnings in effect, those flash floods.
All right, if you're just joining us and you live in the Oroville area or south of Oroville, you need to evacuate. The California Department of Water Resources issued evacuation orders about 35 to 40 minutes ago, and those are immediate. They said within 60 minutes they believe in an abundance of caution, the auxiliary spillway or the secondary spillway, the emergency spillway as we've been calling it, could fail. So I have tried to get confirmation on whether it is going to fail or not. At this point, in an abundance of caution, they said they want to evacuate. We're going to send it over to Debbie Cobb.
Safe. Keep it tuned to our Facebook and Twitter pages for updates and actionnewsnow.com for all the most current information. Cecile?
All right, thank you. I just got some information from another woman named Regina Grattage. She says, Cecile, my husband Mike and I own Orchard View Senior.
Experts from the Department of Water Resources advised that the hole was eroding back towards the face of the alternate/emergency spillway at a rather significant rate. They estimated that it would reach the face of that within about an hour. And beyond that, there was significant concern that it would compromise the integrity of the spillway, resulting in a substantial release of water. Unfortunately, they couldn't advise me or tell me
people will stay in place as repairs are made to Oroville Dam's damaged spillway. This is a look at the spillway area today. The sheriff gave no timetable for lifting the evacuation order. The acting head of the Department of Water Resources, Bill Croyle, says he's not sure anything went wrong on a damaged spillway at the nation's tallest dam. The massive evacuation took place Sunday evening as residents were given an hour to leave. Croyle says storms expected later this week will be a smaller threat than last week. And right now, more water is leaving Lake Oroville Reservoir than coming in, but rain is forecast for Thursday. Sheriff Honey also added that more than 500 Butte County Jail inmates safely transferred to Alameda County Jail. Officials said they are working on a plan to allow residents now to return home. Meanwhile, engineers with the Department of Water Resources are working around the clock. While water is no longer flowing over that spillway, they have to fix that gauge, or gouge rather, in the dirt in front of it. They have helicopters, sandbags, and boulders ready to go to fill it, but they have not yet started filling it because they're not sure that's the route they want to take.
The emergency spillway at one of the country's largest dams is in a state of emergency.
They've got their work cut out for them filling that.
Water levels in Lake Oroville have dropped enough to stop the water from lapping over an eroded emergency spillway, easing some of the panic overnight that sent nearly 200,000 residents evacuating to higher ground.
There's no water is flowing over the emergency spillway at this time.
Lake 200-foot-long, 30-foot deep hole on the lip of the dam spillway. Engineers were told the dam could fail within the hour. A controlled release of water this morning is relieving pressure on the dam and buying officials much-needed time as engineers and crews repair the breach in the main spillway and ease the erosion on the emergency spillway. That's the immediate concern.
Our infrastructure is holding up very well, even though it's
State after officials find the risk at Lake Oroville has reduced significantly, but the risk isn't gone with more storms moving in.
the spillway has been stable for 4 days.
Confident the lake and spillways can handle the storms on the way, but also looking ahead to the rest of the rainy season and to fixing both spillways.
The people were inconvenienced, absolutely. Uncomfortable, yes.
With North State lawmakers chiming in, talking about the strain on evacuees and urging the state and federal governments to focus on infrastructure. This is KRCR News Channel 7 at 5:30. They also urge people who need time to evacuate to stay evacuated. Schools in the Butte County Office of Education District are staying closed through Friday. Chico and Paradise Unified School District are open. Workers are still trying to reinforce the ground below the emergency spillway and make sure the lake level is low enough ahead of the incoming storms. Now, as of the last update at 5 o'clock, the lake was 16 feet from the emergency spillway, an improvement from Sunday when the evacuation orders were issued.
The concern at the emergency spillway that made officials issue the evacuation order was the erosion on the downhill side. This picture shows the direction of the erosion as the water flowed over the concrete barrier this weekend. Officials said today they were concerned that the erosion might have been moving toward the spillway, but after inspections, they found that's not the case. But there was still enough erosion on the hillside that they needed to repair.
Well, people are already starting to return to their homes.